What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about MTV Scream Season 2. Now, in real time, I'm recording this just a measly one day after recording the Scream 1 review, or Season 1 review. So, I don't know when you guys are going to end up seeing these videos, but I am assuming I'm going to space them out at least a little. But I want to talk about Season 2. I want to talk about, obviously I'm going to spoil it. I don't really think that's a harmful thing to do 5 years after the show, is released. But just like Season 1, actually, unlike Season 1, I've never seen any, going into Season 2 whatsoever. I had zero clue whatsoever what to expect. I just knew from what I saw online that it generally, the quality, goes down. And I want to talk about that. So I'm going to be spoiling it, be talking about my opinions on it. So let's just kind of jump in. So I really like Season 1. Again, that video is out, and I may be referencing it, and talking about Season 2. Because the issue with Season 2 is they really lose their way. In my opinion, the biggest flaw with Season 2, I talked about the biggest flaw with Season 1, maybe just being that it's not really Scream. Scream, you have the voice, you have a mask, you have the whodunit, and that's really what and I guess you have the meta commentary to it, and that's pretty much it. Now, the meta commentary takes a back seat, at least I guess compared to Season 1. Season 1, I think, had a really fair amount of it. Season 2 didn't so much. Noah is still one of the greatest characters the show has made, and he still has a lot of shining moments. But actually, and again, like I even talked about with Season 1, one thing that I really like about his character is that, they use him for the meta-ness, right, to kind of explain stuff, and also like to be smart and just, know these things. But they also give him a lot of character and personality, and I respect that. And I respect that. Obviously the theme with like Season 2 is like everybody's gonna lose somebody close to them. Brooke loses some people, Emma loses some, like everybody. Everybody's gonna lose some people at some point. So you knew Zoe was in deep trouble at some point, but you didn't really know when. But that obviously, that played a really big key part to his character. But I would say, in general, right, that aspect was lost. I feel like the phone calls were just non-existent. There were way less of them. I also feel like this season took a really, really long time to get going. I would say the last 3 or 4 episodes, and I do believe this, are super good. I really, like, once things start to pick up and things start to get pretty tense and you're really starting to question, which one of these guys or gals is, the killer, like, it gets really, really good. So I liked the last like 3 or 4. I still like the season. I guess to put it boiled down, or to boil it down the most, I still love these characters so much. I still think Emma is the best character. And sadly, they take so much screen time away from her to expand everything else that I just kind of feel like she gets left out way too much for how good of. And again, I guess that's just my opinion. I really, really like her, and I just feel like they didn't give her nearly as much time as Season 1. She still did get plenty of time, and again, when they do give her time, I think she does really good. I love the idea of the like PTSD and like the shock and the trauma that she suffered throughout all of 1, and that really impacting her character like long term. In this, it actually reminded me of like 13 Reasons Why, which this came out first, I believe. So actually, like, they did almost, I would say these two shows are actually more similar than I thought they were, and this kind of did what 13 Reasons Why did in future seasons, like letting that trauma, even with the last season of 13 Reasons, was actually kind of in a way, like that. So I really liked her character. I still like all of the characters. I think, Brooke really, like, everything about her was elevated. She was phenomenal in this season. Kieran took a lot of steps back, in my opinion. I think because you feel like he's safe, and then they kind of, ramp that up where it's like, well, I don't know, what I mean? Like, it's him, it's Eli, it's all, there's a couple people that, like, it could still be, and I just feel like, I don't know, Kieran was kind of just always, he's the guy who, like, comes in late, or he's really odd, or he's just doing things that don't always make sense. So I feel like they did, number one, I don't think they did as good of a job hiding him as they could have, or as even they did in Season 1. You know what I mean? So I in terms of, like, Piper was on my short list. So was he for Season 1. But in Season 2, it's really, like, him, his cousin, and then you have, like, Gustavo. And, like, that's kind of it. Like, I guess it could be other people. I guess it could be Brandon James, right? And maybe it still is for, like, the third killer. But, really, it's a very, very short list. And I just feel like because of that, the show was like, well, you know, there's not too many ways of hiding it, so we don't even know what to do. We're just going to kind of extend it. And so again, that to me is also the main problem. The show took freaking forever to get going. It took many episodes. You know, Jake's just like dead for like 4 or 5, 6 I don't think it was actually that long. I think it was like 4 or 5 episodes, and like just nobody knows it. It's annoying. I don't know, maybe it's because I like the characters, but I don't ever like the framing aspect of it. So when like there was like the solid, you know, maybe, so while I did like the last 3 or 4 episodes, it also was pretty heavy on, we're really going to start framing it. So like the killer is framing, you know, Audrey and Emma, and then like the cops buy it, everybody believes it, and so like they're on the run. I don't know, I don't like that. And again, maybe it's because I like the characters, and it's like I don't like the tables being turned from them. I kind of just like the general mystery solving element of it, not, oh, well, now the killer's so good that he's blaming it on you, and now you have to like clear your name and catch. I don't know. I just feel like that's been done so many times. And granted, this was 2016, but it's been done so many times, and I didn't really like that part, you know, about it. And also, I think I did tweet this. If they just told each other the missing pieces that the other person didn't know, the whole show would be probably half the episodes, you know, long. That, I think they did a really good job of that in season 1, which is actually why I kind of respect it, where, well, it was 10 episodes, right? So 2 episodes shorter. And by the way, I did watch the Halloween special that I guess is included in this, which was solid, and we can talk about that in a second. But what I think they did really good in season 1 is they actually did keep everybody relatively like informed, and it's still like, well, the killer still is like one-upping you. You know what I mean? You're still not getting it, but you're all in this together, so you have that kind of sense of like union. For this season, it's like everybody's on a different page. Nobody's telling each other just even like simple, not like, you know, like the biggest things or like, you know, exposing their own secrets, but just like things that can fill in gaps that the other person is missing. That's what the entire season, I think, was lacking so much, is like you just have to tell each other things, which you didn't, but you're still around each other. Just tell each other things, and then like you'll be caught up way faster than the way they're doing it. So with that being said, the finale was awesome. I loved the idea of basically recreating, in a way, it wasn't exactly, but obviously like Scream 1, you know, recreating that again with Kieran, I guess having to make that decision of who you trust, but this time even more so. You know what I mean? Not only is she choosing to, like Sydney just shutting a door, you know, saying like, you know, screw both of you with Stu and with Randy, and I guess just trusting at that point that it wasn't, you know, Billy, but also, you know, in this one, it's not just that, it's, well, I have to make a decision. I have a gun. They don't have the weapons to, you know, get me. And then she ends up, you know, shooting Eli, and then obviously Kieran does the rest. So that was like insane, intense. I love, you know, that switch. I love the chase, you know, and getting him and choosing to arrest him instead of killing him. The very first killer ever in any Scream thing, right, that actually didn't die when they were, you know, unmasked. So I thought that was, you know, I guess Jill would have technically been the first one, but obviously that didn't happen. So that was really cool to me. The subplot of, well, I really like the police officer, like he was awesome. I like the subplot of like Brandon James could actually be alive, or maybe it's actually, you know, her father. Like there's a that element of mystery that's still there that I really respected. But I would say overall this season was really only held up like majorly from the characters. Like again, like Emma was even I would say like the newer people, like bringing in Eli and Gustavo, like they're scary. Like you don't really know. You have no idea. And I still and you know, obviously there were the rumors that Stavo was maybe the third person, or even like Noah, which would be quite, you know, a cool twist. You know, the lockdown in the school, that was a phenomenal episode. You know, her being trapped, you know, Emma in the office and then being called and all that stuff. Like that was really good. I love. There was a couple standout episodes throughout the entire thing, but definitely those last, you know, 4 or 5 episodes really started to pick up. And the rest of it was definitely carried by the really good characters, because again, nobody was weak whatsoever. Audrey did really good. Obviously, they focused a lot on her in the first several episodes, and maybe that's why, you know, she's a good character, but I don't know if she's like a lead. I don't know if everything should be like put on her shoulders, and it kind of was in a way. I don't necessarily think, you know, fully, but I did enjoy it. I mean, I think what really stands out to me about this show is by the end of it, okay, so no matter what I think about season 2, at the end of season 2, like, I want more. Like, I can't imagine you guys, if any of you guys, like, watched it back when it first came, so, like, 5 years ago. You know, I'm literally 5 years late to the party, and I need a season 3. Like, I need to see these characters one last time. I need to conclude their story. Like, that's what I want. And I'm so late to the party. So I can't imagine people that watched it, you know, back in the day. I do think it's probably like underrated, because I don't think it's nearly as bad as people probably thought of it back when it was coming out, or even, you know, in the past couple of years. But I think it's really solid. And I think the biggest, you know, aspect of why it's solid is that, like, when I end it, I want more. Like, I didn't know the Halloween special wasn't part of season 2. It was kind of like, you know, an after event that still pushed the story forward, but I didn't know. So, like, when I knew that there was, like, that one more left, I was like, sweet, I get to, like, hang out with these characters one more time. And then when that ended, I didn't want it to end. I was like, you know, and it's not, the Halloween special is not even very good. I would argue it's probably one of the weakest things that they made, but it's like, I don't want to say goodbye to these super cool characters. Like, I just want more of these characters. I want more dialogue. I want more of the mystery. I want more phone calls, because the phone calls, again, like, by the end of it, I respect that the show is different than the movies. Like, I don't want the show to be like the movies. I like the mask. I don't like it more than, like, the Ghostface mask, but I do like it, and I respect it on its own. The voice really warmed up to me. I don't think, again, obviously it's not Roger L. Jackson, and it's not nearly as good, but it's different. I don't even know if you have to even say that. You know what I mean? It's just different, and I think that's fine. I really respect it on its own. I like these, you know, I don't want to compare really Emma with Sydney, because it's not even fair, because Emma had, you know, all of these, well, you know, like 20 hours to herself, you know, to develop a character that, you know, Sydney does not have that amount of time. So it's really tough, but these characters are special. I really do think so. And I want more of it. To quickly touch on the Halloween special, you know, before we end it, again, I liked it for what it was, just kind of an additional thing. I guess, like, they made some silly decisions, even, like, character decisions throughout season 2, and they kind of played on them. Like, Noah even said, like, this is a bad idea, but I guess we're gonna do it anyway because we don't have a choice. So, like, at least they acknowledge when they make bad choices. The Halloween special just seemed like one generally big bad decision. And while I love the turn of, like, Emma getting the jump on Alex and, you know, killing him at the end, like, I love that. And I love her little speech on, like, the balcony. Like, that was awesome. And you know, once she, like, figured out, ooh, I can manipulate him to get away from him, like, from that point on, again, all of her scenes really, really good. The phone call, you know, with, you know, you're never gonna get away, or whatever, you know, all that stuff, like, that was awesome, right? But, you know, it was 8 months, I believe they said, right? 8 months after the ending of season 2, and, you know, she talks literally in the Halloween special about being wary of new people, that she doesn't trust new people all that easily, and maybe she shouldn't. And yet she still does to this Alex, and they get together in the blink of an eye. Now, again, I get it. Like, she's done martial arts in the time, so she's a little bit more, you know, she can handle herself. And, you know, and it's been, you know, almost a year, so it's like, well, you have time to heal. But then, like, when you're in a situation where killings are happening again around you, you really should probably go back to, like, the fundamental rules, which is don't, especially new people, do not trust them. You know what I mean? You know, keep them far away. And they know these rules. Even, like, Noah would know these rules. And yet she just lets, like, this stuff, you know what I mean? And one other small little thing. Again, we're literally analyzing a Halloween special that aired 5 years ago. But when Alex attacks her with the mask, and then she gets the, you know, the one up on him, and then he leaves, and then he literally knocks on the other door, maybe like 3 to 5 seconds after, and she opens it, and she's literally got zero clue that it's him. Now, I get it. There's other people there, and I guess she hasn't seen, you know, other, you know, people that she kind of suspected. But at the same time, like, are you serious? Like, if somebody attacks you, they run, but then you hear the door knock like 3 seconds later, maybe the first thing I would ask is, did you see the killer? Because, like, you should have, because you were seemingly standing directly next to them. So, you know, it's those kind of smaller things where it's like they're just trying to do it for, like, these bigger moments, and they're kind of forgetting what made Scream special. At the same time, again, like, I think the show is more dedicated to the characters, and I guess keeping the mystery alive maybe longer than it necessarily needs to be, because obviously they need to stretch it out. I also want to say, like, the Funhouse part, that was super cool. All the Funhouse parts were super cool. But again, I want to see this series come back again. I know there were two, like, the showrunners for season 2 were two different people than season 1, and thank the Lord that nobody that had anything to do with 1 and 2 made that Resurrections, because I also watched that, and I'll talk about that in a future video. What a disgusting experiment that was. So hopefully they can get one of the two groups that worked on either season 1 or 2, bring them back, make that season 3. You can make it a short 6 to 8 episode thing, bring the characters back. I think they would all want to do it, and end the story. And I think it would work still. Obviously they end it like, well, things are still going to be bad like right now, so they're going to have to explain why things didn't happen for 5 years and then they start happening. But regardless of that, I do think that's what shows that this show is so special, that I want to see these characters again. Even though season 2 definitely lost its way, it's so much weaker than season 1. It also does have some very standout moments, some standout performance. Like Emma, as I said, she's great in 1, and she's also, I would say, equally as great in 2, but kind of for different reasons. 2, she's going through kind of different things than she went in, through 1. And I think they do it, and even like Willa Fitzgerald, who plays her, I think she does phenomenal. So I'm really happy. But again, like, Brooke does so good. Audrey is really good. Noah. I think Brooke definitely was the most elevated. Emma kind of stayed. Audrey, I think, was probably a little bit elevated as well. Noah maybe took some steps back, but he was also, like I said, the second best character, I think, in the first season. So maybe you do expect that to kind of go backwards. And then even like Kieran, I would say he took some major. I don't really think they knew what to do with him, weirdly enough, even though he was the killer. But they had him take some steps back as well. So let me know what you guys think of this extremely late review. Like I said, I did see season 3, and I'm very mad at it. So I do want to talk about it in a future video. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, so all these videos go up. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter or subscribe to my second channel, or you want to support us on Patreon or YouTube memberships, links for them all are in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.